Welcome to the introduction to World of Tanks Blitz. What I really thought about was it's really difficult for a new player. There's plenty of new players out there who want to get into the game and they want to find out what to do. And for us who have been around a while, and it becomes fairly second nature what to do. We've experience with the maps, we've got experience with the tanks, the tank types, all those sorts of things. So what I thought I'd do is put together a bit of a guide on how to get started in the game. And typically you'll see people getting straight through the intro, where they'll go through the training, and what'll happen is you get asked to pick a tank. And that's the first challenge, because you want to get started. I mean, when you're looking at something like a T1, Tier 1 American tank, for instance, it's the basic tank. If you go to the LTR, which is the basic tank also for German lines, they all start off with a common point. So you don't have many choices there. You just basically got to go for whatever tank that country of origin is offering. Japan, French, they all start off with one tank. So you don't have too many choices. They make it fairly easy in that regard. So Tier 1 is not so much a challenge. You look at this T1 I've got here, it becomes difficult when you start having to put the upgrades to it. So for instance, you want to upgrade the engine, and that actually adds maneuverability. It adds things like the traverse, going up and down hills, and same with the tracks. So it allows you to actually get mobility out of the tank. And then you've got things like turret, and often turret, what it will do, it will actually change, it can change the maneuverability because of the weight that it adds to the tank, and it also adds and changes the type of ammunition you can run. So in this regard, you see the standard stuff's there, then you go up to the next level, which is actually moving up into better quality equipment on the actual tank and upgrading them. And then it gives you some choices on what gun to run. So here it becomes a bit more difficult. You start having to think, well, what's a gun? What's it going to do? I'm running in this tank here, the 37mm Browning semi-automatic gun. And if you have a look at the statistics here, we're looking at nothing to do with armor. We're looking right down here where it says fire. So you're looking at the standard shell damage of 30 to 50 per shell, and then you're looking at the penetration in the millimeters. So that's how far it's going to penetrate into the average tank. And so when you start looking at it, that's the key to what you want to consider. If we go and look at this other gun, for instance, and obviously other things like rate of fire and the aiming time. The rate of fire is rounds per minute, so this does 13.7 rounds per minute. And dispersion, that's how much it's going to spray either side of that, and what your view range is. That all comes back down to your turret and all that sort of stuff too. So all those things change. The other option in this tank, for instance, is a 20mm Hispano. Now you're looking at that and you're thinking, well, straight away, when you're looking at the fire and the gun, you see how it's gone red? That actually means it's a reduction in the damage that the shell does. The penetration values have gone down too. The rate of fire has gone up, which means it shoots a lot more bullets per minute. So you've got to weigh all these things up. You say, well, okay, what am I going to get here? And you're looking at this gun, to me, would be something that's going to be more close quarter brawling type of gun, whereas the other gun that we had there is actually more likely to be more open and out there. So they're your first challenges. Look at what sort of gun that you're going to get. And the upgrades that you're going to do to your tank, because that's going to look at what you can afford. And when you start looking at what you can afford, you have to look up here on the left. So we go back to the tank itself. If we go back to the garage, we've got the tank here. Here's our basic platform of the tank. Up here where it says upgrades, if we choose that part of the tank, we go back to this screen. Up on the top left, you can see I've actually got 2,040 credits. I've got way more than you need to upgrade any of these functions of the tank. Actually, I've got enough there, not quite to buy another tank. So if you look at my tier 2s here, I don't have enough credit. I've almost got there. That requires 2,080 and 850 2,850 to buy, but I've accumulated what we call in the top right corner here, free experience. Now that free experience can be combined with your tank experience to actually buy other tanks and other equipment. So I've actually now got 7,000, roughly 7,700, and that means I could buy another tank if I wanted to. I could go up into the T18 or the M2 Light or the M2 Medium. Now here's where it starts getting tricky. You notice there's a symbol in the top left of each one of these. That one there's got a triangle, this one's got a diamond, and this one has a diamond with a stripe. Now, quite simply, that denotes what style of tank it is. The triangle is a tank destroyer. So they're designed to be bigger firepower, and you look on that, the protection's better. The shot effectiveness is down because it sprays bullets everywhere. And then you got your M2 Light. You look at that, that looks like a really good tank to run, and that's sort of like your light tanks. Now you're looking at the T2 Medium, and if you want to look at what's beyond that, you can go to what's called the display modules here, and that'll show you the next level up from that tank there. So we're going into M2 Medium, and we know we're on a medium tank line there. Now if you want to really see what's going on with that whole line and where you should be going and what you want to achieve, go to what's called the tech tree down here on the right. Go to the tech tree, that will open up right from that T1 that you've bought at tier 1 there, and it will show you all the available branches that you can go down. And you've got different pathways to get there, but ultimately you want to look at what you want to do down the road here at tier 10. So for instance, I've unlocked the M103, and I'm currently still grinding that to get the E5 at the end there, a mobile tank, really good. I've unlocked the T95. I've actually unlocked the E3, but I've not bought one yet, and just my own personal reasons. Here I've unlocked T30, and I've actually unlocked the E4, which is a tank destroyer because it's got the triangle at the top there. Interestingly, something that wasn't mentioned before is a diamond with 2 stripes. Or 3 stripes, so it's got 2 stripes down it. That's actually a heavy tank. So that's another range that you get to, but you wouldn't get a heavy tank not until at least tier 5 in the American line. So you're not going to be concerned with that until you get to tier 5. Everything sort of below tier 5 is really training tanks. Everything above tier 5, it starts getting quite serious. My advice to anyone new, make sure you spend as much time down in tier 1s, 2s, 3s and 4s as you can before you progress to 5 and above, because really after that players start to take the game a lot more seriously, and you end up being relied upon a lot more to perform. So you can run into players who get a little bit concerned with how you play, and that could cause some people to get a bit upset with you. So try and learn as much as you can there and get to the bottom of what you want to do. But that's a real quick explanation of how to get started. I haven't even gone into the equipment, which is now, added extras on this tank. You can put in, vents. You can put in caliber shells, which actually increase your damage output. You can put in different things like protection modules for your ammo racks and all those different things. Enhance your cabin. Better optics, so you can actually view further around the field, which is great for spotting. But in a tank at tier 1, I wouldn't even bother with improving this equipment stuff here. I just would leave it. Ammunition, don't forget to load ammunition. The amount of people who roll out at this level and have not put ammunition in their tank, it's incredible. Make sure you tick the resupply automatically on the bottom left. Here's a tip: if you do put premium shells in, which is this middle one here, see on the right hand side there, it's actually in gold color there. That's because it's going to burn through your gold, so that's actually real money. Click that and it burns through credits as opposed to gold. If you want to run premium ammunition, you don't have to pay for that stuff if you don't want to. Provisions are very important, and that helps the tank gain some benefits. At this level, you've only got a couple of things to really go for, which is your things like your can of cola, or your standard fuel, which actually gives you a little bit of an engine boost and a bit more performance out of your vehicle, and consumables. I can't stress how important consumables are. I always go for the multi-purpose restoration pack because it not only does things like fires and stuff like that, but it also does injured crews and things like that. I never get the emergency pack, and I also get a repair kit because I think repair kit's important. If you damage a track or something like that and you're under the pump, you need to get it fixed quick, you can use that. And also to engine power boost, I think is really, really good because it gives you an opportunity to get away if you need to, or just give you some extra boost in your engine. And those things are paid for each game only if you use them. So if you don't use them, you don't pay for them, and it's only credits that you're paying for in those. You're not real money gold. So yeah, that's a quick run through. Righto, so after doing all that, what we're going to do now is actually run through a game in this tank. And we've actually gone and enhanced it. We've done all the things that we have to do, which you saw that we ran through. And now we're just going to go get started in a game and show you what to do in a real basic fashion in just a real quick game at Tier 1. So obviously Tier 1 for someone with 18,500 games plus, for me is actually quite laughable when you've actually been at other levels. But for someone new, it's going to be quite daunting. One of the hardest things you're going to find is actually getting used to driving your tank. And then from here you'll see what I do here. I go taking shots and roll back. I don't just sit there in front of them and let them shoot me. I'm trying to take shots and take cover at the same time. I'm using this hill really effectively here to stop them getting hits on me, but hopefully get some hits on them. Because if you do damage to them and they don't do damage to you, you end up having a greater chance of winning the game and doing more damage, and not just killing tanks and things like that, but supporting your teammates. But the biggest thing you've got to do is learn how to drive the tank right from the start. That's going to be a challenge for anyone new, just getting your head around the controls and what they do. And from that perspective, once you've understood it, you'll actually be in a lot better place. So everyone wants to get enjoyment out of the game. There's no point going into it if you're going to lose game after game and just sort of sit back thinking, what am I going to do? I'm not really enjoying this. So you can see here our team's on the front foot. We've got only 3 more enemies to mop up and kill here. And I notice I'm aiming the reticle, which is the circle of your gun, at the enemy. So I'm specifically trying to ensure that I get that kill. Another thing you can do is ram tanks for a kill, which what we just did then. But just remember, it does damage to your own tank as well. So here what I'm trying to do is just keep an eye on the other enemy, so they're not able to do damage to me, but I can keep putting damage into them. You notice when the green circle, which is called a reticle, goes green, it's actually ready to shoot, and up until then you're not ready to shoot. So that's some basic stuff with the game. Get used to driving your tanks, get into it, get into the overall gameplay, have heaps of fun. Try not to take it too seriously, and don't be in a hurry to progress up the ranks because it gets harder as you go higher. But really get to know the game there. And as you can see, we did a 300 damage, which is whoop-de-doo at this level, but it's all good fun. So hope you enjoyed the video and getting started in World of Tanks Blitz. Please subscribe to the channel and also chuck us a like, and catch you around.